Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Darren. The actual 7.2.5 patch notes are up on MMO Champion Blue Post, and they have literally everything that's coming out very soon. So what I wanted to do is just take a look at everything that's coming out, not only from a rogue perspective, but also to see what are the changes to other classes. Now, I'm not proficient at most of the classes. I don't even know half of their abilities in here, but I will try to give as best of an estimate of what I think is getting buffed or nerfed. I'm pretty sure there'll be people to correct me in the comments below. You're gonna take a look at this from a PvP perspective, not PvE or anything, even though I might make some comments on it because I am probably gonna be PvEing mostly, but I'll try to keep this as PvP centric as possible. So let's start off first with Death Knights, and on the side next panel I have also the talents. So if there's any specific updates, we can take a look exactly at what's going to be happening to each one of the classes. And of course, GeForce drivers are available. We'll install those while the video is rendering, I guess. Death Knight, Death Strike damage increased by 10%. That's gonna be a little bit of healing for everybody else, but not really all that bad. Frost, damage of all abilities increased by 3%. Too spooky, nerf Frost DK, please. Unholy, the damage of all unholy abilities have been increased by 5%. Dark Arbiter has a duration of 20 seconds. I don't know what Dark Arbiter is Valkyrie Strike. Okay, so that's the talent that turns into a Valkyrie. It's been reduced by 24%. Okay, nobody uses that in PvP really. General Fusion now reduces the Darkness Suppression cooldown by 7 seconds. This was 5 seconds. I don't think Unholy is going to be all of a sudden popping up as the strongest spec. They're strong right now, don't get me wrong. And these changes, I don't think they're going to be OP anytime soon. I don't think Death Coil is a massive damage increase because a lot of the damage comes from the dots and then popping the festering strikes or festering wounds. But that Dark Infusion, Darkness Suppression cooldown, which is for your pet, that might be a little bit spooky in some arena situations. That's all I see. Demon Hunter, oh goody, I cannot wait to see what happens to these guys. Chaos Blaze now increases damage by 30%, was scaled and increased based on mastery, duration increased to 18 seconds, it was 20. Spell Barrage no longer uses charges, now you have 1 minute cooldown, was the 30 second recharge time. Your abilities now have a chance to reduce the cooldown by 5 seconds. That ability can hit for 1,000,000, so hopefully that's not too strong in PvP, otherwise that'll be very annoying because it cleaves. Spell Barrage damage increased by 100% and now damages over 2 seconds was 1 second. Prepared now generates 100 Fury over 10 seconds, it was 40 Fury over 5 seconds. So when they do that leap back ability, they generate 100 Fury over 10 seconds. That's always good to know. Demon Hunter's being able to line up bursts a little bit faster. I don't think the tanks are gonna be spooky. I'm kind of fast reading through it. They're getting buffed by 15% on everything, but I highly doubt they'll be replacing Havoc anytime soon. Druids, I heard that they're nerfing Resto, but we'll see what this how this is gonna look. There is actually a lot of PvP specific changes that are happening, but we'll take a look at them when the time comes. Damage of all abilities increased by 25. The healing down below restoration heal spells has been decreased by 4%. Cultivation heal reduced by 16%. That's cultivation. Alright, I don't really know what cultivation is, but they're basically getting nerfed. Hunter, play dead and wake up, no longer has a maximum range of 100 yards. Beast Mastery, all damage dealt by abilities and paths has been increased by 6%. That's exactly what we needed for Beast Mastery. Dire Beast now has 2 charges baseline. Dire Frenzy now has 2 charges baseline. Aspect of the Wild now reduces the cooldown of all damage and spells by 0.2 seconds while active. Chimera Shot cooldown increased by 15 seconds, but damage increased by 100%, and missile speed increased by 25%. Oh Jesus, that's what we needed. Beastmaster Hunters dealing more damage. Marksman, aim shot first attack bonus now 50 instead of 100. Aim shot damage increased by 55%. Like I said, one run's damage increased by 55. Vulnerable bonus reduced to 30 was 100. Okay, so they're basically taking away the effects of vulnerable, but they're buffing all the baseline abilities. That's mostly PvE change, but that's gonna be pretty ace to deal with in PvP. But then again, Marksman was already hitting as hard as it was, and I don't think people had a hard time lining up vulnerable or anything. So, Frost Brain Freeze delay has been modified so that no longer possible with haste to land 2 ice lances during a single winter's chill. Common Storm missile radius increased. Cone of Cold damage increased. Flurry missile speed increased. Okay, so you can't land as many ice lances, but yeah, they're basically taking away that flurry ice lance combo. I don't think that's affecting PvP that much. Actually, that's gonna kind of affect PvP, sorta. Like the burst. Mystery, where all healing spells do 4% increased healing. Damage of abilities increased by 14. Development miss cost reduced by 14. Thunder Focus Tea, channel 100% faster. Vivify, healing increased by 9. Mana cost reduced by 11. I think Mystery Weavers are gonna be in a pretty good spot with all the because it looks like they're just getting buffed flat across the board. Windwalker, damage of most abilities increased by 10%. Hit combo maximum stacks reduced to 6. Ooh. Invokers a win. White Tiger, damage reduced by 10. Fist of Fury range increased to 8 yards. Damage reduced by 20. Spinning Crane Kick. Okay. No, Windwalkers, I think, again. And I think they're just trying to baseline their abilities instead of having them to have too many stacks, like hit combo stacks, in order to start dealing damage. They're just buffing them flat, but don't letting hit combo be too strong to adjust. But they're still nerfing Fists of Fury even though with the buffs happening. So that's a mostly PvE change. I'm actually okay with that for PvP. I think Woodwalkers do need some love though. Blessing of Ashbringer and grants 4% strength with 2000 strength. Okay, so I can't tell if that's more or less. But 4% strength, I actually like that. I like that number because it's a smaller number. 4 versus 2000. I think 2000 is a lot. Especially like with how much gear we get and how much strength we use. I think 4% flat might be, it's hard to tell if it's a buff or nerf. Really hard to tell. Alright, priests. And priests are getting a few talent changed up. New talent 100 of Magilism. They get that. They get Smite's a new talent to 75 Sanctuary. Smite's absorption increased by 50%. Additional molecular atoms by 7 seconds. Stuff like that. This is actually for PvP talent basically added in. It looks like priests are getting somewhat like a PvP nerf because base mana increased by 400. But no longer stacks per atonement. But I think this is better for PvE. Atonement's duration has been, what was that? I think they're changing up one of their main talents, baseline talents. Like yeah, this used to be Penitent, so I think now that just attaches to your abilities. Oh wow, they actually changed a lot of this. The Twist of Fate and Penitent I think is just part of your toolkit, where your penance can be used to heal or to damage somebody. You use talent into it in order for it to have that healing effect. Because otherwise it'd just be damage. So I just think it's just part of the class playstyle. So you can go for Twist of Fate instead of like Castigation Schism. And then level 75, you would get Sanctuary, which actually removed that thing and extended your Atonement by 3 seconds or something. So Smite absorption effect increased by 50. Clarity Will or Shadow Covenant for the AoE. It's like single target absorb, the absorb of damage from that single target that you're fighting, like a boss. Or Shadow Covenant for AoE healing. So it gives a couple options, I think. Then there's Power Infusion, which is a cooldown. Grace, which is a flat buff to all your healing on targets with Atonement. Arrow Evangelism to increase the duration of all your active atonements, which makes it better for atonement-based playstyle, where you deal damage and heal. For PvP, I think it's going to be Grace. I don't think people are going to Power Infusion. I think here is going to be Clarity of Will still and Twist of Fate. But I guess it doesn't really change much for PvP, to be honest. Mindbender generates 8 insanity per swing was 4. That's also really good. Mindbender. So it makes you more of an option to go Mindbender. I don't think people will. Shower of Pain, damage increased by 10. That's cool. That's always good. Rogue changes we've covered, but basically I think Toxic Blade is going to be really good for Assassination. It's a direct buff. Outlaw, they're changing a few things regarding your energy regeneration. So giving you more chances to get energy, but you get less energy, but more chances for less energy makes it more consistent. Adrenaline Rush is not as energy flooding as it was. Yeah, Combat Potency will increase the rate that it procs at and how much it procs at baseline, and then Fortune Strike is the redesigned. And then Subtlety is getting a lot of changes, and I'm pretty sure I covered that extensively in my videos. You're welcome to go watch my other videos on Subtlety PvP. Just type in Subtlety Rogue PTR 725 and click whatever video you see with the name Dalaran on it. Earthshock increased by 20 non-PvP, so we ignore that. Custom Call Lightning damage increased by 5. Enhancement, damage of all abilities increased by 10. Cool. Again, they're trying to ground a lot of specs, it seems like, or a lot of classes. They're trying to ground them, so you don't have like some kind of a weird buff. And like it's like in case of monks, you have that stack for hit combo. They don't want you to maintain too big of a stack, and that be the way you play. They want to kind of ground your abilities by increasing your damage, but not just stack that high. So then you're more consistent. They're just trying to improve consistency of all the specializations. Even though I felt like Enhance was pretty good already, but this is Guess this is pretty good. Westman cost reduced to 43. Okay, so nothing here. Warlock, that's gonna be a lot to read. Holy crap. All spells and pets damage increased by 20. For affliction, really? You should want to do the blizzard? Talents replacing soul effigy. That'll be soul effigy. No wait, hold on. It's called Death's Embrace. Talent replacing soul effigy. Death's Embrace. Agony, corruption, stable affliction, state of corruption, and drain soul. Deal up to 50% increase damage target below 35% health. Higher damage increases target lower health targets. Okay, and there's a Phantom Singularity. Death's Embrace replaces soul effigy. Okay, so soul effigy was that thing that soul effigy was that thing where you just use it on one enemy and you can basically double dot them, double dip. So this basically means you have more damage when they're about to die. That's gonna be really annoying for PvP. Oh shit, you actually have to choose between Siphon Life and Death's Embrace. Ooh, that makes it difficult. Demonology, Hand of Gul'dan, impact damage increased by 180%. Ooh. Burn Furnace of Infiltrate increases damage per point and reduced by 8. Increases damage per point reduced by 8. Okay, so they nerf Infernal Furnace, whatever that is. Developers note, soul shards are now divided into 10 soul shard fragments. So if you guys remember the Mr. Pandaria system, where they had those infernal charges or fire charges, they wouldn't fully fill up. So now in Legion they made it like soul shards, it's all in or bust. You either get a full soul shard or you don't. But now I guess they're gonna add it so you get soul fragments, and which made destruction a lot more fun, and it was a little bit easier to see just how close are you to filling up your whole, I guess, your in your fire charge or whatever the hell they had in Pandaria. Yeah, Chaos Bolt and Rain of Fire restore 30% of your maximum mana and deal 10% increased damage. That's awesome. That's actually pretty cool for PvP, because I think Reverse Entropy was that whole you confligate and then you Chaos Bolts, you shoot them out faster even though they don't really hit that hard, so that kind of sucked for PvP. I feel like Destro is gonna make maybe a comeback. I think this Soul Shard Fragments are probably a PvE change, but I think with most classes in Legion, if you have some buffs for PvE, chances are that transition fairly well into PvP, because like Outlaw Rogue is basically the same PvE build as PvP build, and the same thing for Assassin, mostly Subtlety. For the most part, you have the same PvE and PvP build, and if your PvE build is dealing damage, chances are you're going to do well in PvP. I think arms are going to get a massive buff. They're getting buffed for PvE, and unless I see some kind of nerfs in the PvP section for them, then I don't really know how, because they're strong already. They're probably the preferred specialization to PvP with. But I guess if you don't see any nerfs in the PvP section, then I think they're going to be one of the strongest specs. But we'll talk about every class like in spec. See what's a buff and nerf. Resto, abundance of heal and touch custom no longer reduced by PvP situations. 45 bark has been replaced by Entangled Bark. Entangled Bark grants you target Iron Bark, Nature's Grasp, which roots first to enemies that. So Fortified Bark has been replaced by Entangling Bark. 45 Bark reduces the cooldown of Iron Bark by additional 15 seconds and increases damage reduction effect. That's so strong. I can see why a lot of Resto Druids went that. And now Iron Bark now grants target Nature's Grasp, rooting first to attackers for 8 seconds. That's a nerf. That's a nerf. Beast Mastery PvP champ agility has been reduced by 5%. Good, because they're getting buffs, and the fact they're getting nerfed in this case makes it a little bit better. Go for the Throat has been removed. Ooh. Oh, what? Go for the Throat has been removed. Instead, what you have now is Dire Beast Hawk summons a hawk to circle, or Interlope. Okay. Alright. The next hostile spellcaster your target will cause hostile spells for the next 2 seconds to be redirected to your pet. So next time somebody gets a cast at you and hits you with stuff, instead it will hit your pet. Pet must be within 10 yards of the target for spells to be redirected. So your pet can take brunt of 3 spells, or spells for 3 seconds. That's weird. That's like a grounding that's a grounding totem, but it's your pet. That's kind of interesting. I like that a lot better. Yeah, I like that. Marksmanship, Scatter Shot now replaces Bursting Shot. Oh, yes, because that was a lot of CC already. Scatter Shot cooldown has been increased to 30 seconds to match Bursting Shot. Gust of Wind replaces the cooldown of Scatter Shot. Paladins, Retribution, Hammer Reckoning has been redesigned. Allies with the greater blessings taking damage grant you a stack of Reckoning. Consuming 50 stacks of Reckoning to throw a hammer to gain Avenging Wrath Crusade for 12 seconds. Seraphim Blessing now causes the next flash of light to instant cast. Cooldown is reduced by 15 seconds. Yeah, Seraphim Blessing was like really good. Yeah, instead of when you targets drop low, that you get a free heal instead of you get wings. So once somebody's low, and you have to choose it between Blessing and Sanctuary, which is now a 60-second cooldown. I like that. I like that. That need a little bit of a nerf. Driven to Madness and grants 12 insanity over 3 seconds when attacked. I actually like that. It's not as good if you get in, like if you get trained, this doesn't work as well. But if you get hit once in a while and you can get away, then this works pretty well. Mind Trauma has been redesigned. Yeah, they changed this. So Mind Trauma, instead of Mind Flay giving you a applying Shadow Word Pain on the enemy, now if you fully channel Mind Flay, you steal 1% haste from the target. You give yourself a buff for 1% haste, and you put a debuff that's magical on an enemy. Their debuff can be dispelled, but I don't think they can dispel your stacks. But you can basically steal, only 10% haste can be stolen from a single target, so you can steal 10% haste from one, 10% from the other, and give yourself 20% haste increase. That one I learned from Ann Bonnie, who actually popped in by the stream and explained it a little bit, and then I watched his video on it, so that's the only reason I even understand it. That's pretty cool, and I actually think it's a cool design. It's better of a talent option than whatever they had prior, because nobody will play with it. Phantom Assassin or design. Phantom Assassin grants you a critical strike chance by 35. Yeah, so they redesigned these. This gives you 35% chance while your Shadow Dance is active or stealth, which is good because it's more chances for your abilities to crit, which is buff. The Thieves Bargain also got redesigned, so cooldown is 60 seconds. Your damage increased flat by 10%, not while in stealth, but just flat, and maximum health decreased by 15. So that was the fast way of going about it. Fire Knights has been redesigned. Your Flame Shock, Frost Shock no longer can consume an additional 20 Maelstrom. The duration of your Frost Shock and Flame Shock is increased by 100%. Damage of Frost Shock is increased by 100. What is the Fire Knights? What was it before? Hold on. Frost Shock now deals 20% additional damage. Flame Shock, periodic damage generates 3 Maelstrom. And so instead of generating 3 Maelstrom, you consume less Maelstrom. Increase duration of Flame Shock and Frost Shock by 100%, and the damage of Frost Shock by 100. That is a buff to Frost Shock. I think that's cool. And that's it. And they didn't nerf Warriors. Okay, so Arms Warriors got a lot of buffs, but no nerfs. And we got only a few changes to a lot of classes. So that's everything. I think I covered every single class and spec in the game. That has been is a long video that I've sat here looking at, so this is gonna be fun to edit, but this is everything that I have for you guys. Let me know what your thoughts are on each class and specialization that is getting changed in the next patch. Well, let me know what you think is going to be too strong, what you think isn't going to be strong enough, and what would you do differently. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in another video.